Hey everyone, it's Chris, the PDX Picker. Welcome back to another video. I'm going to pull some orders that sold for me on eBay and Mercari, of all places. And I'm going to talk about another platform that has gone to no selling fees and what impact that might have on eBay and other selling platforms there are out there. So stick around, we're going to get into some great sales and talk about that new platform.
Wanna buy that Farrah Fawcett poster? Pez dispensers and a toaster. Don't know why. That kind of stuff you throw away. I'll sell on eBay.
All right, so it is Monday morning. Had a great weekend in sales. Gonna pull about 10 to 12 items, I think, that sold for me on eBay and Mercari. I also had 2 sales over the weekend on Facebook Marketplace on some items that I had planned on reselling. So, a very good sales weekend. We are July 22nd right now, and the month of July is going great for me. I actually had a very good month of July in 2023, surprisingly, or at least surprisingly to me. And I am already on pace to meet that total from last year with 9 days left in the month. So I'm fairly certain I'm going to shatter that record, in that July record from last year. So let's go ahead, pull a few orders. Right after that, we're going to get into the topic about the new platform that has gone to no selling fees. Okay, yeah, so we have 10 total items going out today and actually have enough orders to make another video tomorrow, which is very rare. I very rarely am able to make 2 videos 2 days in a row. So again, things are really going great for me, and I'm very pleased with my results and how my business has been taking off in the year 2024. All right, so let's go ahead, pull the first order. It is a pair of shoes that I bought at my favorite thrift store. The description I had for them wasn't super clear, but I did find it. So I bought these. These are New Balance 990 version 4s. Very good model of shoe. Usually has a pretty quick sell through, like sells really fast, and these proved no different. I believe these were listed for less than 2 weeks. I think probably about a week. And I bought them for $10. Which for New Balance 990s at a thrift store, $10 is a pretty good price, unless you're at a thrift store that doesn't change the prices for the types of shoes, and then in that case it's probably not that great. But here they are right here. One of them's not tied, but so they're a larger size, or size 15. Actually have pretty good luck selling. This is the second pair of size 15 New Balance 990s that I've sold just this month. Well, they only sold for $30 on eBay, and I will tell you why. I didn't do a good job, and I rarely do this because, frankly, it's kind of gross, but I didn't do a good job of smelling the item when I bought it. Like I said, I don't normally do it because it's gross, but the issue is these came from a smoker's home. They smell very strongly of cigarette smoke, and although it could also be campfire smoke, I don't know, I can't necessarily tell the difference between the two. But either way, very smoky, and so of course I disclosed that. I bet you in the condition that these are in, if they weren't smoky, I could have easily got $50 for them. But as it is, I sold them for $30 plus shipping to a buyer who has the name Smokey in his username on eBay, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's probably a smoker himself, in which case it doesn't matter at all if the shoes smell like smoke. It would be pretty funny and rather coincidental if his username had Smokey in it and he wasn't a smoker, which I suppose that's Smokey the Bear or something. It's a relatively I don't know about common name. I just thought that was pretty funny that the shoes that smell like smoke were going to a buyer with Smokey in their username. Like, what are the chances? So anyway, I don't really know how. Not really certain how I could have avoided that in the future. Like I said, I'm not in the habit of smelling shoes before I buy them, because that is just gross. I just don't want to do that. I mean, I guess the outsides are a little bit better than having to smell the insides, but I don't know. I don't know how to avoid that in the future, and frankly, If the worst case scenario was I spent 10 bucks on the shoes and I had to throw them away, that's okay. I think to me, that's a price I'll pay compared to smelling all of the shoes that I buy in the thrift store. All right, this next item that's sold is up in box 2, so I'm gonna have to get it down here. So I picked up these items at a garage sale last year, I think it was, or maybe it was earlier in the winter. And it's not gonna be the greatest view. And these aren't huge sellers. Most of the money I made on other purchases in the lot, but I bought a bunch of old Batman toys, and this is a crossbow, and this is part of what's called a batarang, but it's missing some pieces on it. The buyer actually didn't want this, but I don't really want... So he really only wanted this, but I'm just going to ship them both. He offered about half of what I was asking on this. This has only 2, I think you can see those in there, 2 of the discs that come with this. Anyway, I'm spending a lot of time talking about an item that sold for $9. But this came out in 1990, and I believe there's usually 4 of the... Wow. I believe there's usually 4 of the discs that come in there. This only had... have a visitor. It's only had 2 of them, and that's part of the reason why it sold for $9. I bought it for $3, so somewhat of a profit, but not a whole lot, but that's okay. Okay, so my son just popped in. He sold an item on Depop, a Carhartt jacket, and I printed a label for him so I could get it shipped today. Which brings us to the topic that I wanted to talk about today, which was there's another selling platform that, just like Mercari, has decided to go with no selling fees. So no fees charged to the seller when an item sells, and that platform is, in fact, Depop. So I have sold a few things on Depop. My son, who's 16 years old, has sold dozens of things on there, and he has had a lot of success with it, and he actually got me to start selling on there as well, because it's definitely an up-and-coming clothing reseller platform. And now that they have no selling fees, I think it's another platform that we all should consider selling on as resellers. So what is Depop? Well, Depop has been around. I did some research. They've been around since 2011. They started in London in the UK, and I don't know exactly when, but have now branched to be pretty much worldwide. They are still headquartered in the UK and London, but they also have offices in New York and maybe one other place. But a couple of years ago, I think it was maybe 3 years ago, 2021, they were actually bought by Etsy. But, of course, they're not directly tied to Etsy in terms of reselling. They're a completely separate platform, separate website, separate app. And as I mentioned, they primarily focus on clothing. You can list other items on there as well, toys, and I don't know exactly what it is, but far and away, the primary items that are sold on there are clothing. I think right now, it's safe to say that their primary demographic is certainly on the younger side. They are everything from teenagers to probably folks in their 20s. I'm sure there are older folks that shop on there, but they definitely, the customers definitely skew towards the younger side, which scared me off at first. It was one of the primary reasons why I didn't list on that platform, because I knew that it skewed towards this younger demographic, which I'm 40, tomorrow I'll be 46 years old, and I don't know what's trendy anymore. I barely knew what was trendy when I was a kid myself, so that definitely scared me off. But it is helpful to have my son Jonas to kind of show me the ropes around the place, but around the Depop platform. But there are some other things that can be relatively easily done to figure out yourself, if you don't have access to a teenager or a younger individual, to figure out what it is that is selling well on the platform. One thing they don't have, which is similar to, I don't know, maybe Mercari, or there's a few platforms that are like this, they don't have a way, as far as I know, to check sold listings. If the item sells, I don't believe they retain that information. It disappears. So it's not something like when you're outsourcing for eBay, for example, you can check sold comps to figure out what items are actually selling for, what items are actually selling. So that is a big drawback to Depop, but one thing that they do that I think is very beneficial is they have a brands tab on their website, and it showcases some of the more popular brands on the website, and I think that's a very good indicator of what it is that is selling well on the platform. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we're going a little bit old school like I tend to do, which is just filming my computer, which I know is not exactly great, but right here we're just on the Depop homepage. And I believe this is your typical landing page. So up here on the left we got menswear, womenswear, brands, and sale. Those are the tabs. So you can definitely see that they are geared towards selling clothing. But when you go to this brands tab, it automatically brings up popular brands. And I think this is a great indicator of things that you can be on the lookout for when you're outsourcing. Brands that will sell well on Depop. We have Adidas, Aritzia, not familiar with that one, Brandy Melville, Carhartt, Dickies, Doc Martens, Free People, Harley Davidson, Jordan, Lululemon, New Balance, Nike, Patagonia, Polo Ralph Lauren, Supreme, The North Face, Urban Outfitters, and Zara. There's also some key highlighted brands over here. We've got, where'd it go? We've got Levi's and Stussy. They have also an interesting section called Popular this week. It shows which items have had an increase in searches. So right here, Popular this week, watches. The searches are up 9,300 more in just the last week than the previous week. Robert Cavalli is up 1,300 searches. Uggs are up 3,200. Golf Wang, 2,000. North Face backpacks up 1,300. New Balance up 574. Homecoming dresses up 1,300. And low-rise baggy jeans up 2,400. They also have ways to narrow down your search criteria, shopping by style. There's, I don't know, something like 25 or 30 different styles that you can categorize things as. Minimalism, coquette, with the band, streetwear, spectator style, grunge. So my reason for showcasing those items those areas on the website is, as I mentioned, it's a good way to do a fair amount of research ahead of time that Depop has kind of already done for you, or for us as resellers, which is showing the popular brands and showing the items or the categories of things that are increasing in search volume. So based off of that, for example, it kind of looks like to me watches might be becoming more in style or more interesting to buyers on the Depop website. So if you have a lot of watches in your inventory, then selling on Depop might be a good place to do that, because that's, out of all the items that were listed, that had the highest increase in the number of searches week over week. And again, the whole impetus for talking about this is now Depop doesn't charge you any selling fees. So they join Mercari and no selling fees. I'm assuming how it works is they will charge the buyer a percentage or some sort of transaction fee, so that's how Depop can make their money on the transaction. But as sellers, that's great for us. And that's my tip of the day is, if you aren't already, consider looking into Depop, because if we can get more and more sales without having to pay seller fees, obviously that's a benefit for all of us as resellers. And who knows, now that there are two platforms, Mercari and Depop, that aren't charging sellers fees, I'm assuming a place like Poshmark and maybe to a lesser extent eBay might not be too far behind. So we might be coming closer and closer to a reality where our sellers' fees are going down and down instead of going up and up and up, like it feels like they have been for indefinitely. So, all right, let's go back to pulling some orders. We have about 8 or 9 more to pull. Let's go ahead and pull that Mercari order first, because I almost forgot about it. So it's a set of action figures that, again, were part of a big lot. I say again, I feel like I mentioned or described these over and over again. I know a lot of you might be new to my channel and haven't seen me pull or talk about these before, but let me grab these here. And But anyway, again, I bought, real quickly, a big tote of action figures and accessories for $10. Came out to be right around 10 cents a 10 cents a figure. These sold, I have them wrapped up. I don't know how well you'll be able to see these, but they are die-cast, Marvel die-cast figures. They're Toy Biz branded. I think there's about 8 of them here, so probably cost me 80 cents. And they sold on Mercari for $18, free shipping. Pretty sure it's free shipping. Yeah, they sold for $18, free shipping, and it'll cost me right around $5.50 to ship the item. So, a little bit of money, not too bad, but again, Mercari, 0 fees, so I'll get that full $18 when it comes through. Next item that sold for me on eBay is a pair of Levi's 505 regular shorts. I picked these up, I want to say last weekend, at a garage sale. They were brand new with tags. Paid $5 for these. They already sold. I picked up 2 pairs. I sold a pair of gray ones already. And these are a pair of blue jeans. Those sold for full price, $30.95 plus shipping. As I've mentioned many times, new with tags on great brands, for sure a no-brainer. So new with tags, Levi's shorts. It's just season for shorts. Definitely be on the lookout for at least another couple of weeks for new with tags Levi's shorts, or any kind of shorts from a brand that is going to be common enough that people are aware of it. This next item that sold, I was a little bit hesitant on. So I went outsourcing with my son last weekend. I wanted to prioritize finding some items for him to source. Like I said, he sells on Depop, but I wanted him to branch out to sell on eBay and into things other than just clothes. But, he's a little bit uncertain and needs a little bit more guidance when it comes to trying to find the right items. So I went out with him and we went primarily sourcing for him. We stopped at this one garage sale. Didn't really look like it had a lot of great things, but she did have a very nice hiking backpack or backpacking backpack. I don't remember the brand on it. She told a very interesting story about how she went out on the Pacific Crest Trail for her 70th birthday. She was going to hike from the north to south portion of the trail in the state of Oregon, where we're living. She only made it about halfway, and then a giant hailstorm just ripped her tent to shreds. So she wasn't able to make it the whole way, but she was able to make it a heck of a lot longer than I could probably do, probably 100 and some miles. Anyway, she had a very nice backpack that she wasn't going to use anymore, so Jonas picked that up, and he currently has that listed. And then she also had a satellite GPS tracker listed as well that I wasn't certain if it was going to be a good pickup, so I didn't recommend Jonas buy it, although I probably should have because I bought it for $10, and I already sold it for $44.95 plus shipping in right around a week. It's this right here. It's the Spot Gen 3. It's not new. She just kept all of the packaging and everything, so these are really neat. I wasn't too familiar with these because I haven't gone backpacking in many years, and even back then I wasn't that strong into it. But what this does is you pay for a you basically sign up to have coverage or to have service, and you can clip this to your backpack and it sends a GPS location of where you are located at. So if you wanted people to follow along on your trip along the way, like this individual who was going on a 200-mile hike, people could log into the website, put in her information, and they could see where she was along the way on the trail, which is really neat. That's one aspect of it. Maybe a more important aspect of it is, in a case of emergency, you can send out a call of sorts to let people know where you are if you need help being rescued, that sort of thing. So those are very, very valuable if you are hiking on your own, for sure, or even in a smaller group. And it's a good sale, too. I was a little bit nervous because it was a little bit older model. The sell-through rate on it was didn't appear to be spectacular, but I only bought the item because she didn't guilt me into buying it. She was just a really nice older woman. We talked for quite some time, and it was fun to listen to her story about her trip, even though it ended you know, in a little bit of a bummer fashion. You know, she wasn't hurt or injured or anything. She just didn't want to sleep in a tent that didn't have a roof. But she just said, "Hey, you really should buy this tracker too," and I finally just said yes. So this next item that's sold, I thought it was cool when I bought it. It is still cool. Just doesn't have. It's a little bit. Well, here it is. It's safety is no accident hat. Probably not in the best of condition. You know, old retro. Made in the USA. No, it's not. It's made in China. Well, there you go. Anyway, it says safety is no accident at Marquip Inc. It's got these cool, you know, lines on the side, trucker hat. Thought it was neat. Not that valuable. $8.39 free shipping. Probably picked that up for $1. Still sandal season. I was getting a little bit nervous coming to the end of July. I know there's 2 months left in summer, but I thought by now maybe a lot of people who needed sandals had already bought them, but they're still selling pretty well. These are a pair of Crocs sandals that I picked up for probably $7.99, so a little bit higher than I normally like to pay for Crocs sandals, but they sold for $25 with shipping in just a matter of days. They're Adrena strappy sandals, so I guess there's a couple of different versions of Adrenas by Crocs, Adrina. And by the way, the only way I figure this out is through Google Lens. There's no way they don't put a model or anything on there, but if you Google Lens it, it'll almost always come up right away when you're looking at Crocs sandals. Crocs has, especially for women, have so many different styles, and this one is a pretty good seller. So $25 plus shipping in about probably 4 days, if that. This next item that sold much better in terms of value than some of my other ones. A skincare product, if I can figure out how to get it. Let me set this down. This is the first one of 2 similar items that I sold over the weekend. Both of these were bought at the same sale. I went to a cheerleading fundraising sale, and they had a bunch of skincare products that were all new. I kind of bundled them all together for around $80. I think there were 11 total, so it's right around $9-ish per item. And this is the one that sold. Just a little guy here. Kind of hard to see what it is. Hopefully that will come through. So this is Senoderm Eye Illuminator. 0.44 ounces. Just this guy alone sold for $51.90 free shipping. I think that was probably the best item out of the lot that I bought. A lot of them were $25, $30 items, but that one, $52 free shipping, was definitely a very good winner. Kind of took a chance. I looked up just a couple of the items, and they looked great, so I just decided to ask for how much all of them would go for. They're asking, I don't know, they're asking like $5 to $10 each. Oh, I know what it was. There was a bunch of them that I gave to my wife. I'm trying to figure out in my head how that math worked out on that one, but there were quite a few that I gave to my wife, so I factored those into that $80 total. But anyway, it was a nice little pickup. So I've already made my money back on that buy based off of this item and another item that sold that'll be either later in this video or in the next video. So I have probably 6 or 7 more items for sale, which that means everything is all of those will be pure profit once those sell. This next item that's sold is just 2 cassettes only. We have Nirvana Nevermind, the Nirvana Nevermind album, and their Nirvana Come As You Are. So this is the Nevermind album, this is the Come As You Are and Drain You single. For whatever reason, that Come As You Are and Drain You single is somewhat sought after, especially if it had the case. I think it's probably the case more than anything. But picked those up for $1, and they sold for $13.45 plus shipping on the 2 of them. Finally sold another Genesis cartridge, and this is one of the better ones that I have left. It is a Contra, no, that one. I'll have to confirm. So these are Japanese versions. Yeah, so this is Contra Hardcore, CORPS, the Japanese version. That sold for $39.90, free shipping. Paid about $8 for that one. So at this point, we are definitely all in the profit when it comes to the Genesis and Nintendo 64 cartridges. Still have about 4 left, I think. 4 left, only one of which has any value. Well, there's 2 that have value. There's a Sega Genesis Heavy Unit, I think is worth about 30 or 40. And then this Super Smash Bros. Remix. I have it listed high at 60. I think it's probably worth more like 30 to 40. So I'm probably going to take down this listing and repost it under a lower price. This is a older model. Older remix version. They come out with newer ones every so often, and when they do that, the older versions, the value goes down. So, all right, last item that sold. I picked this up for $2 at a garage sale. It was funny how this works out. God, I already forgot where it was located. I need to say the box out loud, and that'll probably be better. Box 10. I was right. So I bought a wallet and a purse at the same garage sale. The seller, the person running the garage sale, tried to tell me that the purse and the wallet went together as a set. I think she was kind of kidding around, but I took it literally because I don't know. They were both Coach. So I think I bought the purse for $5, the wallet for $2, and it sold for $23.95 plus shipping. I actually wasn't going to even buy the wallet, so I want to make sure I'm not blaming trying to blame the person running the sale. I was just going to buy the purse, and then she said you should buy the wallet, so I bought that. But the wallet ended up being more valuable than the purse. So this is a Coach long zip around signature jacquard black wallet. In pretty good condition, better condition than the purse anyway, and it sold for $24 plus shipping. So that's it for today's video. Please like this video if you did like it and enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, so you can get more content like this in the future. Thanks so much for stopping by. Good luck with all of your reselling ventures out there, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.